Hey, people, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. Where those of you like myself in the United Kingdom are concerned, good morning. Anyone else placed anywhere else around this world, people, don't feel left out. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night, depending on where you are. First things first, I hope you're all in good health. I hope you're all in good spirits, physically, mentally, financially, and all of them things, especially because it's been a tough year. It's only going to get tougher. Obviously, it is a festive time of the year, but it also is a sense of great loneliness. And as we end the end of the year, I know it's one where I like to think about what I could have done better and whatnot. So yeah, man, just the very fact that you've made it to the end of the year, not everyone can say that. It's a blessing. Touch wood, there's no more premature deaths, and everybody, lives a life of abundance. Hope you've all had a good week and you're all enjoying your weekend, excluding your football team if you don't support Arsenal. Obviously, if you're Arsenal fans tuned in, away from that, I hope you have a good weekend. Of course, I hope it's standard procedures, or return to standard procedures. Now, when we've gone to Goodison, Old Trafford, or Anfield, it's been wet, it's been windy, it's been nighttime fixtures. The fans have been there. We've not been on it. I'm not going to say the weather's going to be lovely in North London, but 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock kickoff. The Emirates grass is cut real nice. Southampton aren't going to make too much noise. We're not going to make too much noise. The players should have a million years on the ball, so we should see an improvement. Obviously, Southampton have never beaten us at home. That has to end sometime. And for these players, you are breaking. It feels like every week we're breaking new records, and Arteta is breaking his own. I personally would not want to be among that. So you lot need to put in a performance. I've already previewed Southampton, but obviously we know Hasenhutl's a good manager. We know they've got quality. We know they can press well. We know they can score goals, even though they are struggling to do that. We know they can cause problems to us, which has been the case. So I'm going to get on to Arteta's press conference because it's only right. I wanted to speak about that. The only reason I'm here is because things have emerged overnight. Aubameyang could miss this game, stuff around Maitland-Niles, and it didn't feel right to not do a live stream, people. Is that little monkey at the back of my head said, let's go. Obviously, on the topic of live streams, people, shameless plug and whatnot, 2 p.m, an hour before kickoff, I'm going to be back here on YouTube, and together we're going to watch and react to Arsenal Southampton. So we're going to have pre-game talk, post-game talk, during the game talk, and all of that stuff. And I'm not going to cap to you Sunday. I don't know if we'll get a reaction stream because I've got some networking events and things to do, and I've got a football game, so I'm not too sure when we'll physically find time. But between for Sunday and Monday, I'm good for it. So yeah, just before we crack on, man, as usual, very appreciative to all of you lot that are tuning in. Without you lot, there would be no point of being here. It'd be completely pointless. South London, Manny, hope you're doing well and safe. Matt, shout the members. Julian, Ake, I appreciate you. Tino, how am I feeling? I'm a bit tired, but I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I got my saltfish fritters downstairs ready for me to eat after this live stream. Arsenal versus Southampton. I'm a bit peed off that it's a 3 o'clock kickoff because we have to watch it on the stream. But other than that, got nothing to complain about, and I hope everyone can. Of course, it's DG merch, man. Make sure you're heading up to the DG store. Again, it's Christmas. Ladies, get your man something, then he'll stop trolling. Mandem, get your galley something. But yeah, shout out to AM, shout out to Yoni. Rico said it's been a while. Since I've been able to catch your stream, but I never missed the uploads. Big up, my bro. Appreciate that. You're not ready for today? Well, we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to be, man. We're gonna have to. My week's been solid, my guy. We're gonna have to, whether Arsenal are ready or not. The world keeps spinning, the Premier League keeps going on and on. So we ain't got no time for none of that, man. So let's hope we put in a performance. Let's hope we're ready. Let's hope we're ready to right the wrongs potentially of last season. I mean, of the last game, actually of last season as well, mind you, because we haven't proven anything. I know we've been disastrous at some points. We've been amazing at others. We're a mixed bag. You don't quite know what you're going to get for Arsenal. And I think anyone that's overly negative or overly positive, I'm not going to say you can't be. I'm not going to say there's reasons why you shouldn't be, but I just think you're capping. I respect everyone's opinion, but I just think you're lying to yourself. If you're negative about everything connected to this football club, I think you're wrong. Of course, there's a lot of things to be pessimistic about. There's a lot of things that aren't quite going right. And I think there are things to be optimistic about. Not too many, but there's things to be optimistic about. I just don't think we're going in either direction. And for every positive, there's about 2 negatives. For 2 negatives, there's 2 positives. At Arsenal, we do this cycle thing really and truly. Shout out Trinidad and Tobago. I'm a bit jealous, man, that it's sunny and that, can't say the same over here in the United Kingdom. It's, it's lovely weather. Unfortunately, Arsenal win today despite Sky Sports prediction. I don't know, man. I'm shook at Southampton. For me, I don't think there's very few teams in the Premier League, me as an Arsenal fan, I'm confident about. And I said it in August. I personally always look to when we're playing Brighton, when we're playing Southampton, when we're playing more so away with Southampton, when we're playing Crystal Palace. If I haven't said Brighton already, in recent years, when we're playing Villa, these are the sort of games. And for me, I've seen too many tests that we didn't write. Fair enough. I think we beat Brighton last season, but they were in poor form. When we've gone away from home, we haven't done the business. And for me, it's more so Liverpool and United, you could have, the results could have went other ways, but you could have, laid down a marker or gained some more positive credentials. When it's time to really send a statement, I don't think these boys are on it. Of course, we've beaten the teams we should be beating, with the exception of Palace at the time. Always look at Wolves, Molyneux things, you're right. So again, it's a mixed bag of stuff, and this is why I don't think you can be in any direction, and this is why I have a problem. Like, even with Arsenal fans, I'm not saying everyone needs to protest, because I'm not on the forefront protesting, but has anything changed? Again, everybody wanted the Cronkies out and all of these things. We're seeing some money spent, we're seeing a good form, and it's gone away. It's Arsenal fans, myself included, we only really want to let our voices be heard and felt when things are going really, really bad. Much like the club, they're only going to pull the trigger on certain managers if they do really, really bad, not if they're underperforming and there's question marks as to whether they can take us forward. So we'll have to see what's going on in that regards, people, really and truly. My prediction for Southampton, well, let me be positive. I'm going to say 2-1. 2-1 Arsenal. The one positive is that if Arteta gets sacked, there'll be a good foundation for the next. True, to a degree. I do think there's a lot of good things Arteta has done, but also there's a lot of things that simply aren't good enough. I feel so. A lot of things he's installed that, they should have been done sooner, and we overcompensate. And I personally feel that, he gets a lot of propaganda, if I'm honest with you. Like, there are people with pitchforks that judge him unfairly, but I feel he has a lot of apologists. When things go well, he's the only one that gets praised. When things go wrong, it's all the players. And I'm not saying there hasn't been times it hasn't been the players and hasn't been Arteta. Even looking at Goodison Park, I feel Arteta needed to make substitutions in the second half, just like at United, highlighted his lack of proactiveness as a manager, or his naiveties. What I won't blame him for, ultimately it's his fault because he's picked these players and it's his team, but I can't blame him for these individual errors. Like, these players are street smart. It's a mixed bag. I don't think you can just blame the players. I don't think you can just blame Arteta. As I always say, the gloves are off. I've got no allegiances to none of you. You'll all get my applause and positive critiques when you lot are doing bad or good. I'm never going to advocate scapegoating, really and truly, but beyond that, I haven't seen anything. I can't ride for, like, if Thomas Tuchel went through this wobble that Arteta's going with, and Chelsea fans were saying, let's stand by him, he's won the Champions League, he's done this, he's done that. There's not really anything, Carl. For me, you're not strong in your principles like Gasperini and Sarri. You're not really playing attractive football. Your defensive football's overestimated. Man management's a bit of a mixed bag. Tactically is a mixed bag. It's not that I support him, but I struggle to be galvanized by anything connected with Arsenal, if I'm completely honest with you. DG, I think the game may get ugly. I think Southampton's press will cause problems for Arsenal. Well, any press. Our centre-backs and our team are the best team in the world, playing out from the back when there's no pressure. You press us, there's issues. And if Southampton want to do the pressing thing, then they can take a little bit of inspiration from Rafa Benitez's men against Everton, at Everton at Goodison Park when we last won. I got a weird feeling that Eddie is going to start up top. I think so as well. I don't think Lacazette's going to start. I hope Martinelli starts. I'm not sure on Smith Rowe, but yeah, I think Eddie Nketiah is going to go through the middle. Arteta's been bigging him up in the press conferences and things like that. I just clocked that we've only had 3 good performances this season: Spurs, Villa and Leicester. And even then, they weren't complete performances. Exactly. Obviously, people will say we're negative and we're cherry picking. But if you're going to get to that level, you have to cherry pick and scrutinize and pick out fine parts. And you're right. Even the Spurs game, I would say, well, there's nothing I can say in it. They are 3 best performances this season. I would say for me, obviously, yeah, Spurs were poor at the time. But for me personally, the Spurs result, it was a lovely one for me. I think we played complete football. Scored 3 goals in a half. Obviously, the game management, I've been saying it. When we scored that second, that was the best. That was the most important goal we scored because they did try to settle. Villa, at the time, I thought Villa were going to hit us at home. We did our thing. Leicester, give us credit where due. Now, out of the three, I think Leicester was probably, for me anyways, the most complete. I think second half against Villa, we were starting to let it go. I think, we took off Lacazette, Douglas. We started to get into the game. Obviously, there were fine margins that went for us in the Spurs game. I'm not going to go over it, but the talking point of Ben White's penalty, Son has drawn a good save in the first half from Ramsdale. Obviously, Morris deflected shot at the time, and there was probably other stuff that was in that game as well. Now, these things are going to happen. This is the Premier League. There are going to be times where you're under the caution, things like that. But beyond the obvious, that's just what I feel, man. A lot of how we play, there was a lot of similarities with how we've played against Liverpool, United, and Goodison with our victories. We played the same way against Newcastle, Watford, and Norwich. The problem is these fine margins aren't highlighted when you're playing with, respectfully, these sort of teams. When you're playing the best of the league or your rivals or whatever, this is when people want to have here for it. When we win games, nobody cares. Everyone just wants to shut up, or you're seen as negative, or you're seen as positive. Arsenal, from our fans to the players to the manager to the club, don't know what balance is. And I think fans can be hypocrites. They claim balance, they claim they've got high standards, but then they overly defend mediocre players. They scapegoat people. They cry about competition. When competition for places is there, they start crying. Everything connected with the club across all aspects. And obviously us fans, we're not making any decisions. We're at the bottom, but everybody's a damn hypocrite. Fans don't hold themselves to the same high standards they ask of the players, and then whatever. They wouldn't ride for certain mediocre talents or condone mediocrity or be so quick to say, oh, well, we're, only X amount of points at the time behind Liverpool. Oh, we're only a certain amounts of points off top four. All of these luxuries that best team in 2021. All of these luxuries that Arsenal fans have hidden around. And when you look beneath the hood, these same positive statistics, there's bare negatives. It's a mixed bag. So comment on what you see. Don't comment on what you want to see or what your confirmation bias is telling you. It's going to rob you of seeing things for what they are. And I think that's why bare people get frustrated positively and negatively, whether you're an Arteta sexual or an Arteta apologist or someone that's out there with the pitchforks for the Donny, if that makes sense. Let's make sure we're hitting the like button and we're slapping our reminders for 2 p.m. people. Don't forget about that. What's going on here? YouTube, what do you mean? My bit rate should be fine. Hope it is. There we have it. Let's just leave it there, man. What else are you lot saying? Eddie, bro, do you know what? Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Eddie starts and scores. But again, this isn't, obviously the romantic in me obviously could convince him to sign a new deal. But these guys shouldn't be in your long-term planning. And this is just Arteta's, you never know where players are. You're seeing the Maitland-Niles thing come up. We'll get into Ainsley, but I think personally Ainsley's a dickhead because, I feel you should feel you've not been done dirty by Arteta. But as I say, with Eddie, with Balogun, once you get past a certain age, promises are a comfort to an idiot. Arteta's going to tell you everything. And as a fan, rightly so, I want him to tell Ainsley everything or Balogun everything. Yeah, okay, bro, you got to play Premier League, fam. Don't watch that. You're getting Premier League football, boom, 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 this, that, and the other. And then lo and behold, you're not getting that. You man are dickheads because you shouldn't look at the romance. When them man there were telling Joe Willock to stay and them sort of things, Arsenal general thought, sorry, folks. When them man was saying, I want you to stay, Joe said, fuck all of that. I need to go and play football. I hear that, but I need to go. I can't bet on that. And Ainsley's been in this situation. Do I feel Ainsley Maitland-Niles was hard done by not being involved in any capacity really after a man of the match against Watford? Yeah, I do. But at the same time, you're a squad player, nothing more. Now, I want to see you get chances, especially when people are doing badly. But at the same time, that's them games there are the games for you. You knew you weren't really in Arteta's thoughts in relation to midfield. Partey's form or whatnot. Partey's playing ahead of you. Tomiyasu's coming. You can be a good squad player, but I don't, it is what it is. Maitland-Niles, you're in this situation, Carl. You let them gas you. You wanted to leave when it was the Community Shield. You let them gas you. You didn't go. Last season, you let them gas you. Whose fault is that? I sympathise with you. The manager should be giving you chances. But looking at Ainsley and away from my Arsenal cap, if I'm your agent, bro, you need to go, blood. Simple as that. Now, for us, I wouldn't like letting him go in January because we're down for bodies. But him, Partey's back, Xhaka's back, Lokonga's playing ahead of you. It is what it is. I would love Ainsley to get chances, but you've got. I blame Arteta. He's lied to you in it, but At the same time, we have been winning games, so you can't complain. And at the same time, bro, you need to take your future into your own hands. You let a man gas you. They're gonna tell you everything under the sun, you know. And I want them to do that from a club perspective. But as me, who loves Haaland youngsters, Ainsley need to move. You're not playing ahead of Tomiyasu. Unless a miracle happens, you're not grabbing midfield spots. Now, I do think you could have a future here, but I'm not gonna lie. You know, I'm on anything that kind of tips this club to think about bringing in a midfielder. That's why I was so keen, beyond the obvious, of Xhaka departing in the summer, because it would force the club to move away from that. You know, Ainsley means one less body. Now Arteta's probably telling him, "Oh, there's more football for you," and all the list. And there might be. You was getting opportunities. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. You know, remember that picture? What was it when Ainsley was on the bench? It might have been against Leicester. Him and Arteta are hugging each other. It looked like a wavy thing, but it's dead, man. You know, it promises a comfort to an idiot. Once you get past a certain age, if you're not in the situation you want, you have to blame yourself. And again, I have more sympathy for Ainsley, because when other people are not putting in form, you should be able to play, you know, and you're not getting game time. But a lot of you knew this. There's no European football, you know. With the AFCON coming, chances might arrive, but Arsenal will be under pressure to sell Ainsley Maitland-Niles in January, with the out of favour utility man irritated by his lack of action after he was told he would play more often following Everton's interest last summer. And I mean, Arteta is to a degree. Arteta is probably proven a man that can't keep his word. On another hand, I don't care about Ainsley or anybody's situation where they feel they should be getting more football, because we're not playing good. We need to find a team that gets results. If you're not in it, whether that if it could be with Ainsley in it, I don't care. I don't care about a lot of these people's individual situations, because the club is a mess right now. You know, people are always gonna. And to be fair, we've been on an okay run bar recent, so I can't really say there needs to be mass changes. I don't get it. I know it's not the same, but Ainsley's said, "I want to stay." Probably have to talk about him signing a new deal because he's contracted until 2023 soon. He's not involved. I'm not Balogun, sorry. Balogun's not been involved now. Again, Balogun, it was naivety. Once you get past the social media antics and a new squad number and all of that, you was never going to play football this season like that. I hope things change, but it's a myth. You need to go on loan. But I don't get it, because Balogun's meant to be. We know, but again, Eddie is ahead of Balogun in the pecking order. We know that he started the cup games. He's been on the bench. Balogun was playing under 23s when we was in Goodison. When we was at Goodison. I don't know with Aubameyang. We'll get onto it, potentially missing out if Balogun is going to travel today. But I think we would have seen it, and I think our 23s are playing today. So that tells you everything, you know. You haven't included Balogun, you know, after telling him to sign a new deal. Ainsley's been frozen out somewhat. Now, again, it's a squad game. You have to pick the squad and all these things. So I sympathize more with Ainsley, but if I'm honest, I don't really care to a slight degree. But I don't get it. Eddie's told you I want to bust out. You know, you've lost the Eddie race. Why are you involving him on the squad, but you're not involving these sort of guys? And again, you need to know what you're doing with Ainsley. You know, way before this information came out, we spoke here and we said he probably leaves next summer. He's contracted until 2023. Probably need to let him go, and we'll probably let him go for less than you could have got if you let him go last summer or the summer before that, which again shows the reactiveness. You know, I don't think we should let him go next month, because obviously you've got Partey and El Nene departing. Xhaka has just come back from injury. You know, obviously with us being down to our bare bones and hopefully we bring someone in, you're increasing the risk of injuries with others because you're having to rely on a lot of people. He should be frustrated. You're not playing. You was lied to. I have sympathy with Ainsley. Your career is not going to kick on if you're playing like this, but you knew the variables. Initially, you was getting opportunities, but Arsenal will be under pressure to sell Ainsley Maitland-Niles next month amid growing frustration from the utility man over his lack of playing time under Arteta. Sky Sports Mail understands the England international is irritated at his peripheral role at the Emirates this season, having been told he would have an opportunity to play more minutes, having made clear his intention to leave the club in search of regular football. They had a heart-to-heart talk. Bro, promises are comfort to a fool. Once again, he's going to tell you everything. He's going to tell you everything. If I'm the manager, I'm going to tell you everything if I want you to stay. You know, since then, he's made just 2 Premier League starts. From his 6 top-flight appearances this season, people, he's only one has seen him introduced before the 70th minute mark. And there's a feeling that the club kept Ainsley at the club in the summer under false pretenses. Of course, we're not the only club that's going to lie to him, man. You know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's obviously lost his job. He lied to every United player about first team. With that in mind, Maitland-Niles' future is set to come under scrutiny again when the January transfer window opens in 3 weeks' time, with the player eager to play on a regular basis. And that should be, you know, we've seen him, Marie, El Nene, these sort of contract things rising again. As I said, he's got 18 months on his contract. You know, you're probably not going to get, you know, 30 mil. And with it being said that players are running down their deals, I very much doubt Ainsley's going to stay on the bench for another year and run down his deal. But you're going to get less money, ultimately reactiveness. And I don't really know what Arteta is doing, people. You know, Everton have a long-lasting interest. Newcastle are interested. They might not be in the division, but there's opportunities there for you to go out there and play, people, man. So it is what it is where that's concerned, man. Man said, sack this Arteta done. Pepe has been smelly, but man can't even get a sniff. He's defo violating. But again, every manager plays favourites, but it's already what we know. Ainsley can't play. Pepe can't play. You know, Aubameyang, there's little rumblings. I don't know what's going on. It feels like the shit man can always play, you know. At the same time, I do think there has been examples of good man management. You know, he keeps gassing Aubameyang despite his poor form, you know, and things like that. But other than that, I don't really understand. He's playing favourites. It's taking Martinelli and forever to get involved. It's just, I don't know, man. I don't know what he's on. I really don't know what he's on, man. Partey should be dropped for Ainsley, but at the same time, as much as I think Ainsley should get game time, let's be honest with ourselves. He's not gonna do much. Like, I love Ainsley, but let's cut the crap. You know, let's cut the crap. I'm sure Ainsley's got a lot of potential. He's a good midfielder. Right now, today, is he a better option in midfield than Granit Xhaka? I think yes, because I would play him. You know, icy free tax, he's Mandem, it's Halen. But in reality, he can't do, and it's not to praise Xhaka, because I think we should upgrade on Xhaka. But he can't do what Xhaka allegedly does for the team. You know, he should probably be playing ahead of Partey. He's not playing ahead of Partey, and I wouldn't play you too many times ahead of Partey. I do think you should get more football. I do think, you know, when you've played with Lokonga, you've done your thing. I do think there's a role here for Ainsley, but, you know, Arteta's taking the piss. And if I'm honest with you, how much game time? Because if it was up to me, you know, you get a partner for Partey. I bring in two midfielders, two number 8s. It's easy for me as a fan to say this, but I bring in two midfielders. So I'm operating with two midfielders. Partey's playing. Lokonga is playing. I'm probably going to keep Maitland-Niles, but you're going to be fifth choice. So beyond being a side man, what are you going to do really and truly, you know? Every manager's a liar, bro. So someone's comments gone. Surely, but that just shows Mikel's a liar. I'm not defending Arteta. Every manager's a liar. You think Wenger, Alex Ferguson, Pep, they don't gas these man all the time about first team football. You can't keep everybody happy. You know, we can't give everybody a chance. Play experienced players, give young players opportunities, move the team around, keep the same team, and get 3 points. We can't do everything. So on one hand, I agree with Arteta. You know, our form's been poor, but we're better than we would have hoped. And prior to obviously these shaky results, we were winning games. So when things are working, yeah, I can say where's the opportunities, which I felt Ainsley was done dirty, but it is what it is. And for me, again, it just shows poor management, because Partey clearly isn't fit on top of just being poor. You sacrificed, I call it sacrifice, Xhaka, playing 96 minutes. The man's just got back fit, you know, and I gave him a blight for that car. You can't expect much. Maybe if you threw Ainsley Maitland-Niles in, there's a reason. Same way Martinelli got an opportunity and he's kind of taking it because he's frustrated on the bench, and previously Saka and Smith Rowe. Ainsley might do that. And sometimes he might not be the midfielder for the season, but you have to be able to ride players' form sometimes and coattail off the back of that. I don't feel we do that. And it just feels at times, for me anyways, with a couple of players, when they're starting to settle and they're building up themselves, that's when it just safe. You're not involved in this, really and truly. If I'm completely honest, man. Like, that's it for me. And it just feels like favourites. All right, bring your gal and I'll breathe as much as she wants, man. Suck your mum on that note. You see these lungs, you know I'm a fullback, up and down, you know. You think Tavares ain't gonna run up more than me up in your gals, oh my thing. You know, you don't want to see the DG skank, so allow it, man. It's too early in the morning for your BS. Man, don't know you, blood, brother. Once again, in case you didn't hear me, suck your mum. Love the realness, Miles. I appreciate that. Arteta is effing us up. I think he's a bit unfair. I'm not trying to back Arteta. I'm just calling it as I see it. I do think there's a lot of things he's blamed for unnecessarily, and I do think there's a lot of things that people are frustrated about. So anytime they see a Ainsley Maitland-Niles article or things like that, man are gonna get angry and things like that. So it is what it is. It's a long day, bro. It's a long day. I'm not being funny, man. You know, it's 20 minutes until 12. I'm not here for BS, man. You know, DG from long range, bro. That's a really Manchester derby volley to get you mad. Fuck out of here, man. How does El Nene play ahead of him is beyond me. I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand it. But what I would say with El Nene, and I almost don't believe this when I think about it, but at least with El Nene, you kind of know what midfielder he is, steady Eddie, this and that. If I'm devil's advocate, I still don't know what Ainsley is. But for me, Ainsley's the future. I like you. Well, not the future, but he's contracted for another year. El Nene's got a couple of months, so I don't know what we're getting. It still feels a bit Sunday League-esque. And when I see certain decisions, I don't get the vibe Mikel Arteta wants to win games of football, makes the right decisions, really and truly, man. Every manager plays favourites, but you need to know when to differentiate and stop playing shit, guys. Like, it's as simple as that, man. Partey should be dropped for Ainsley. Ainsley should have never said he wanted to be a midfielder. Nah, man, I think he could be. Your problem is you're just not rated here. Like, you need to bust out, man. As a manager, for me, my starters has to reach a certain standard. Comfortability for players is never good, especially these men at our club who are mentally fragile. Nene runs a lot, yes, but has no head on him, doesn't track his runners and ruins the team's press. Bro, I'm not no El Nene apologist. I'm just trying to find reasons, bro. I don't understand why beer things are happening, If you wanted Eddie Nketiah to stay, you should have been trying to do that a year ago. I don't see the point of any of what we're doing, but it is what it is. And as you can see, or you can tell by my tone, I always say I'm tired of these love dramas. I don't give a shit about Ainsley Maitland-Niles winning football, El Nene's contract. I don't give a crap about a lot of things, and I love Ainsley's. Hey, Len, it's just I care about my club more, and I'm just tired of these dramas. Like, every club's gonna have drama. City's got dramas. Every player that doesn't play at City is gonna leave, but these are not City standard players, and it's almost like these things. I don't know. It's like you can see these things happening. It's like you can see a leak of a pipe, and rather than get a new pipe or something, you're just putting sellotape around it. So when a mad thing happens, you can't complain. Or it's like we've got a hole in our roof. The sun is shining. We're not fixing it then, and then we're only trying to fix things when it's hailstorms and all of these things. I'm tired of the love dramas. Every few months, this Ainsley thing, Marie thing, Laka, Eddie, and none of it. Respectfully, none of them are good players like that. Like, none of them are good players. If I'm Liverpool, I've got all the time for. Well, not really, but I've got all the time for Mo Salah's stories. Is he gonna stay? Is he gonna sign a new deal? These man, come on now, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Sebastian, just because you clearly haven't been here, you've said, you just, fair enough. You want to say a smart comment. Yo, chill. If we played Ainsley and he'd be shit, which is likely, you'd still complain. No matter what team he picks, if the result doesn't come, you'll complain. Well, first things first, I don't think you've listened to anything I've said, because I've actually said it's not that deep over Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Second of all, in general, if you don't get if you win, then no one can complain. If you lose, there's always something you could do better. If Pep Guardiola doesn't start a striker and he wins a game, he wins 20 games, no one can say anything. In a Champions League final, if he doesn't have a striker or play a striker, then things go wrong. We're always going to praise and critique fairly. Oh, the comments are up. Hey, Sebastian, say, my guy, man. The gun is out, man. The gun's still out for my man. Friendly fire, man. Fuck the coolest captain, man. I don't care about being coolest captain and doing front flips. I love Aubameyang, I actually think people on to him about being a captain, but fundamentally, I need players that are in form. I said, for me, and I truly meant it in August, the gloves are off. After last season, especially November, these men scarred me. You earn, when you play well and stuff, you earn, respect, you earn a bly and things. I don't think I can give any of these players a bly because they're not doing it. Even, and what concerns me is obviously, you would have probably last season thrown, well, maybe not so much Aubameyang, but historically, you would have thrown Tini and Aubameyang into the guys we can rely on. I would still have Tini there, but that's an emotionally charged one. I don't know if you are. Aubameyang, you're definitely not. You can't be relied upon, There's no players in this team that I think I can look at and say, yo, I rely on you. I think you're going to do the business for me. There's some players that, of course, I think are going to play well. Players that I think are going to do bad. Certain players that 5 games, they're amazing. 5 games, they're not. But fundamentally, yeah, man, it's just mythical, really and truly, if I'm honest. I want to see Pepe play today. I just want 3 points. I'm not disagreeing with you. Hit the like button if you haven't. We're still only at 68 likes. If we look at Aubameyang, apparently Aubameyang is set to miss Arsenal's clash with Southampton after sitting out training. Arsenal are set to be without Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Sorry, people, just before we carry on with this Aubameyang stuff, as you lot know, it's watch along business after. So make sure you're here, people. But back to this Aubameyang thing. What one's this? Same thing. So yeah. We're set to be without Aubameyang for this Saturday's clash against Southampton. People, Martial wants to leave. I'll take Martial. Goal report, there is no official reason for his absence as of yet, but there are suggestions he could be unwell, with the club exercising caution with COVID-19 cases causing problems across the Premier League once again. Now, we need to be wary of the rumours that we're seeking. You know, it could be anything. Again, there's not been a specific reason. We know Aubameyang has suffered with illness, and there could be a relapse where obviously we're hoping a man's healthy. There could be something with that. There could be something in his personal life. It could be a bust up. It could be, you know, just due to poor form. I don't know. I'm just, you know, it is what it is, but it's just bare dramas. He's set to miss the match as he sat out training people. So that probably means Eddie's going to, for me, you know, I would probably like Lacazette to start. You know, Lacazette, Saka, Martinelli, for me, the front three. You know, is there a reality where Smith Rowe's moved out wide and we go with Eddie and Nketiah? Or is he just going to, you know, drop Odegaard and keep Smith Rowe fit and go with Martinelli up front, or go with Nketiah up front? I don't know, people. All I know is you need to get 3 points today. The skipper's missed out in it. And again, until we see the team news, we can't speculate. But he didn't train, apparently, people. And he did not report to London Coley for the final session, so I don't know if he's travelled with the team to their hotel. There are suggestions the 32-year-old could be unwell. He was on the bench against Everton, people, and apparently he was tipped. Apparently, we'll get onto it, but Arteta has denied there was a rift, people. He said, "I have a good relationship with my players. Everyone has to understand that I always do the best for this club and for this team." And often, if that can benefit any individuals, I will always do it. The decisions are not personal. The decisions are just to get the performance and the best out of the team. That's it. Well, you don't, if you don't bring on Eddie and Nketiah left wing if that's what you're trying to do. And there's many other examples, like when you was persistently playing Willian. I don't know if that can be described as I'll always do my best for the team or for any individuals or whatever, people. You know, I personally don't know, so I can't comment on such people. But it seems like Aubameyang is missing out due to that. You know, everyone and all of the legends that are pundits, you know, they've been saying there's a potential rift between Arteta. You know, I do think they have a fragile relationship. It looked like it mended and then it's now back. So I don't know what to read into them man's thing, but it is what it is there with Aubameyang and whatnot. What do you lot make of all of that sort of stuff, people? Maitland-Niles, let me know your Maitland-Niles opinions as well. Maitland-Niles wants out / Aubameyang out for Southampton. Why doesn't Aubameyang as the captain take the lead and address the fans instead of all this speculation? Again, that's true, but there's all different, you know, as we know, it's not as white and black as that. I don't have an answer for you, but I don't think it's as white as black as that. I would like that, you quash fears, but we don't know, man. Again, we need to just wait, man. About Auba's days at Arsenal over. I don't want them to be. I think he's a quality player, but at the same time, we can't carry people. And if you carry on like this, which it looks like you are, then your days should be numbered. And anything other than a squad player, you know, collect your P's for a year next year, because we're not going to move you on. That's that, man. Odegaard isn't getting dropped after those 2 goals he scored. Listen, there's ways of playing him, to be fair with you, but for me, if I'm going with the lineup, I'm probably going Lacazette. If it was up to me, which is not, Lacazette up front, Saka if fit, Smith Rowe in the 10, Martinelli. But you're right, you know, you could put Odegaard next to Partey. But the only reason you probably see that, I think Martinelli's the one that's going to get done dirty, if anything. You know, you're right. I do think you see both of them start. I think, yeah, like I said, Martinelli's going to get done dirty, really. It's going to get to a point where players like Gabby, Saka, Smith Rowe will have no choice but to leave so they can actually reach their potential. I say this all the time. You know, right now, them men are naive young men. They can't believe they're playing for Arsenal. And, you know, right now, their feet are not on the ground and whatnot. They live in a movie. The penny's going to drop. And when they finally deep that, yo, I'm a Premier League baller and I love Arsenal and that, you know, Smith Rowe and these men are not young and naive guys. When they're saying I'm going to be here for the rest of my life and I want to stay at Arsenal forever and I want to be a one club man, I love to hear it. But it's very easy to say that when, you know, you haven't got 100 career appearances to your name and you've got a platform to do that. When you're 26 and you ain't winning and you're playing for England, like these guys, I hope continue, and you're talking to people like Foden, like Grealish, these guys that are going to keep winning stuff, you're going to hear it. In the same way Ramsdale and Ben White probably wanted to come to Arsenal. You think the conversation wasn't had? You don't think Kyle Walker in the England squad at a point when he was at City didn't talk to the City players and say, what's that like? You don't think Harry Kane, you know, dreams of playing for these teams? Every time he's with England, he asks his people, what's it like? you know, and you're right, that is going to happen, because if it doesn't, they're going to stagnate. I'd keep Ainsley, but if he wants to leave, keep it moving. And for me, I want 2 midfielders. So if selling him gets the transfer kitty to for a means to an end, then I'm not gonna say I'm gonna cry over it. I just realized why Eddie is a bad striker. He was destined to play on the wing. Arteta has third eye vision. I hope so, bro. Pepe left wing, allow Gabby to rest for the game for fitness. I hear that. Pepe, you know, wouldn't be against Pepe getting an opportunity, but what are we resting him for? You know, we've got West Ham next. We need to win games, and I think, you know, we need to make insurance. Auba is finished under Arteta. His tactics doesn't suit Aubameyang after all. He's 32. Maybe we should sell Aubameyang for good. You're not going to make no peas. And to be fair, I'd rather just, you know, I'd keep Aubameyang for the bench. You know, you're going to need a body to get rotated in and out the side and be an option. So I think he could be that for a year. You're not going to, if you can make your bread back, why not? But I don't see us bringing in 2 strikers. So you might as well bring in a top don in the summer and then do what you can there. Beyond that, I don't know. It's a brazy one, if I'm honest. Boy. Should we see what Mikel Arteta said in his thingies? We're all confused with these decisions, man. We're all confused with hella things going on at the club. This is why I just accept it at face value. Being a cool captain, I need my captain to hold players accountable where adversity hits the game, as he needs to take charge when necessary. As for Ainsley, I want to play more in midfield. I think you mean you want him to play more in midfield? I assume. I don't know. Hit the like button if you haven't, people. 72 likes. It's not amazing, but it's not the worst. He's not wrong. Man will gas Ainsley, then violate him, depending on if he's had a good or bad game. But that's our fans. Our fans don't know what they want, bro. Our fans don't know what they want. They sit here and a lot of them just want to moan for the sake of it. A lot of them don't know what they're talking about. I'm not saying I do, but a lot of them just moan. You know, a lot of them, football's an emotional game, but man, just get emotional to the point where you're just ranting for the sake of ranting, you know, and that's not going to help anyone. That's not going to help you and stuff like that. Auba has no place in the squad with Arteta's tactics. That said, his poor form of missing sitters has been hard to watch. Facts. Of course, DG, Arsenal bigger than any players, managers for the betterment of our club. If we sell. If we want to sack. Just needs to go forward. Saka kept his head down and played left back for almost a full season and made himself undroppable and became our main winger. Ainsley could have done the same. He could have, but this is where we're at now, isn't it? Like, he could have, and I said that as well. I agree with that, but this is where we're at. Arteta's clearly said something to him. So on one hand, I can't listen. I think he should get more minutes. I think if he is more open to playing fullback, there could be minutes there with Tomiyasu. Can't play every game, but there's got to be a reason. If you're not playing man right back, you know, if you're not playing man in midfield, what do you want man to do? So on one hand, I feel, you know, Arteta can't be lying to people and stuff. But on the other hand, you know, at times Ainsley's done his thing, but we've won, you know, we've been winning, you know, we're trying to get results. And, you know, and I don't think it's a season to be, if you're not playing, yeah, you can feel hard done by, but I don't think it's a game to care about man's feelings. You know, Ainsley knew we was not in Europe. He knew him, Eddie, Bear, them knew there was no Europe. So you're not getting them 6 or so games in Europa League. So if Arteta's lied to you, I feel he's done you dirty. But on the other hand, you man have to blame yourselves. You know, once it gets to you're a big youths, you're not naive 18, 19-year-olds. You have been around first teams. For Ainsley, you've been on loan. You've seen it, what football can do. You went on loan at 17. You know the thing. Are we at home today? Yes, we're at the Emirates, man. You can't. Look at it, bro. DG, spot on about Ainsley Maitland-Niles. As a young player, you can't simply believe everything the gaffer tells you. Players like Sancho and others have set that precedent to go and play. Well, exactly. You know, I don't doubt Pep might have used him, but they're going to tell you everything. And at the same time, they need to get 3 points. You know, sometimes he's played players, you know, Tavares has cost it, you know, and whatnot. But this is it. Bro, Ainsley looking certain. I can't lie. Ainsley's looked 30 under all the gaffers apart from Arteta. I'm not gonna lie. It looked like there was a little role for him under Wenger. It looked like there was a little role for him again under Emery. You know, for a couple of occasions, it looked like there's a little role for him here under Arteta. But you know, there was a time where if we played a back three, you'd get a look in. If it wasn't a back three, you're not playing. You know, he's a flavor of the month guy, and shouldn't believe it. I know you want to make it at Arsenal. You're comfy here. You badly just want to play games, but at some point you need to just keep it moving. You know, look, he's a big man, but look at Lingard. Who told Lingard you was going to play properly at United? And now he's complaining about he wants first team football. Look at it. You know, Solskjaer told all them, man, you're going to play, and, you know, him, Martial, all of them. And now look, you can't believe what guys are telling you once you get past a certain age. And I'm not saying it's right, but you can't. And for Arteta, what he needs to run the risk, what he needs to avoid is, you know, in life, our word is all we've got. Some people don't understand that. You know, talk is cheap. That's why everybody talks. And obviously the actions that follow are very expensive. You know, everyone wants to be financially free, myself included. Very few people are going to put savings away and, you know, cut away some luxuries and things like that and make cutbacks. That's the doing. The talking is saying what I just said. Or I want to lose weight or get fit. But man, I'm not going to the gym or going to the gym consistently. This is it, man. It doesn't make sense. So you can't believe certain things that are being said. You need to be proactive. Joe Willock was proactive in busting out on loan. He increased his stature and we was able to rob Newcastle for some peas. Simple as that. Like, it's brazy. It's very brazy. Hit the like button if you haven't. Make sure you've set your reminders. Away from that, though, let's see what Mikel Arteta said in his press conference, man, because it's due to be lit, I guess. I can't prepare for this. I need to see the full thing. What's Plan B announcement? Sorry, people. If you're going to the Emirates, once Plan B takes effect, any venue with the capacity for 10,000 or more must ensure attendees have a COVID certificate in the form of a valid COVID pass or proof of a negative lateral flow taken within 48 hours before the fixture. Apparently, regulations will not be in place for Southampton today. So if you're going to the Emirates, people, you cover your, you know, obviously stay safe. You know, if you can provide this or you want to provide this for extra safety, do your thing, you know, but other than that, you should be all right for now. But the next game, you lot have to sort yourselves out if you haven't got the vaccine, which is completely up to you lot. Don't let people pressure you to or not to do it. Let it be at your disposal, you know. And obviously, everyone can take a lateral throw. That shit hurts, though. I'm not going to lie. Let's see what Mikel Arteta has had to say. Mikel Arteta on COVID protocols, Aubameyang and Saka. I mean, I'm going to skip out the COVID parts, people, respectfully. I'm going to skip that out. On team news, Emil has trained today and he was feeling much better after losing him for the last game. And hopefully he will play. He'll be available to play. The rest of the squad is okay. So hopefully that means Saka's all right as well. That means a couple of knocks are all right. To be fair, Aubameyang, again, are we hoodwinking? On Ralph's form, he said, I know Ralph and the team, they are really dynamic, aggressive, forward-thinking, really aggressive in the high press, and an important team in the transition because they know how to score goals and create a lot of chances as well. A very dangerous team. So you've said it there. When I hear aggressive, I think you've got to match aggression. When I hear forward-thinking, I hear we've got to be proactive. When I hear high pressing, that means we need to be brave. Let's see at 3 p.m. On when he could see Aaron Ramsdale's character, the day I spoke with him for the first time on the phone, that is when I realized he had a special personality and was going to fit in really well with what we are trying to do and the way we want our players to behave. On some more attacking players, on wanting some attacking players to win player of the month, you've got to actually play attacking football and try and score goals. You know, we're overrated defensively. We're very defense-centric. We allow a lot of chances on Ramsdale's goal. Of course, he's going to get goal of the month, player of the month for Arsenal, second one in a row, you know, with the Hollywoods ones. And obviously, forgive me if I'm wrong, was Tomiyasu not the recent one? Your attackers aren't scoring goals because you're not creating chances. They're not going to win that. Let's be a bit sick. Let's be sensible. That would be good if the attackers are making us win football matches. That would be very welcome. On the COVID, this is the only thing I will say on COVID, on the comparisons with the outbreak at Spurs and now us. I think the decision has to be made to protect the players and the environment. For me, this is the first thing. Afterwards, we need to maintain a certain criteria so clubs that are competing can all compete in the same conditions. But for me, the most important thing is health. Facts. On our attacking stats not looking too good and how we can improve, practice it more and encourage the players to take more risks, put the ball more often into the box when we have the opportunity to have more bodies there and start to score big chances that we have, like the game against Everton. People have to get into the box. How many times did we have people into the box? How many people, we have attacking players, but we don't get close to them, At Liverpool, people get close to Salah. People get close to Jota because they can't do it alone. Lacazette's by himself. Odegaard's by himself. And then they're dropping deep. So again, practice, but what are you practicing? You know, if you're trying to revise a certain topic, but you're reading the wrong subtopic, you're not doing the wrong thing necessarily. But that exam isn't gonna. You're not gonna help yourself. You're not doing it effectively. So I don't doubt our integrity, our effort, our application. But what are we doing? You know, you need to promote. I would say psychologically, these players need to believe, because on occasion there's chances they do this. If I'm honest with you, but they don't, and I don't know. You know, I don't call us an attacking team. Once the ball goes from Ramsdale into any of the midfielders, there's no plan. So I don't know, Arteta. That's down for you. On whether Aubameyang will start after being benched, the players and the substitutions are always with the intention to improve the team and win the match. That's all we try to do all the time. Aubameyang, if you do start and you are involved, I want to see fire in your belly, because if the manager said that, and I'm 32, one of the best Emirates signings, the talisman allegedly, the goal scorer allegedly, I'd feel some sort of way. You're telling me that I'm not in the best team if Arsenal need to win, which is true. On current form, you're not. Pardon me. On whether he's confident that Aubameyang will rediscover his form, it's all about patches. All these patches have been here for over a year. Every player has patches and moments, and it's about trying to make the big moments and the good moments and the form when a player is scoring, to try and maintain it and try to reduce the time when they don't. On whether we're interested in Ronaldo, we're not going to discuss any players. He isn't an Arsenal player. Sorry. On the difference between Arsenal and Tottenham's COVID situations, I think the guidance is clear. It's about the decision that goes the same way for everyone, and this is what we have hope for. We know the context. We're going to be competing, and if there are certain things that you don't meet, then the game is off. Then the game, if off, I don't know what that is. And if you do, then the game is on. We all know that, and it's fair competition. On the current mentality of the team, after losing against Liverpool, we reacted really well and beat Newcastle. I think we deserve much more against Man United. We didn't, because we didn't, we did. Yeah, we were a bit more stronger than I'll give us credit for. We didn't. If you're going to leave Cristiano Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes, and to be fair, Fred making runs, some midfield runners has been a problem. You can't afford to do things like that at Old Trafford. You can't afford to go there with the game management, especially forget where United are, any time in the season. So we didn't deserve that. Yeah, of course it's harsh that we didn't, but that's life. When you don't do the hard graphs, you don't. We didn't deserve anything more. If not a win, then at least a draw. Then no, we didn't. Fair enough, Odegaard's made the mistake, but collectively we haven't closed out the game. We didn't. Football don't work like that. You get what you deserve. We didn't deserve that. Then, and even at times we've won when we should have lost. We've not lost when we should have lost. We've drawn when we don't deserve to. But the same logic, that luck runs out, and there's a normalization of results. He said, then against Everton, we had periods where we punished ourselves, and I don't think we deserve to lose either. Arteta, you're taking a fucking piss, if I'm honest with you. We did deserve, pardon my French, we did deserve to lose, because we was all over the shop. We was a shambles. We crumbled after taking that goal, that lead. We didn't arrest our poor form. We didn't wake up when VAR disallowed goals. Why can't we just be honest? That's the thing. We need to increase the level of those performances, and when we have those performances during matches, we need to win the matches and close the games down. And whether he is encouraging players to get vaccinated again, and let's stay away from the COVID things. On if Aubameyang is lacking confidence, obviously when a player is not scoring, it's affecting his confidence, it's affecting the mood and probably the belief. But you have to rebel against this situation. Don't accept it and feel sorry for yourself. For Lacazette, he said, it's the same as every time that you ask me. Nothing has changed in relation to his contract. On the fallout, considering our recent defeats, people, every time you lose a football game in this club, it's what happens. And I think what should happen, because we are here to win every game, and when you lose 2 in a row, it's painful. And it's even more painful for me the way we lose those games, because of the trajectory that the team had and the results that we're having. I mean, this has been coming. You mentioned Newcastle. A lot of how we beat Newcastle, the same problems were prevalent in the game against Everton. First half, yeah, Tavares is going forward, but there's gaps, and Wilson's running into it. What happened against United, as I just said, you're open and you're too easy on the transition. They're just walking past you. It's too easy to get beaten, against Everton. Lo and behold, Everton are just walking past us in midfield. Are we just seeing what we want to see, or are we actually seeing what we need to see? Anyways, he said, I feel that we deserved much more than 2 defeats for sure against Man United, and looking back at the game against Everton even more. That's boring. We deserve probably more. One of your first games where Chelsea last season 2 seasons ago at the Emirates, where they turned it around after 15 minutes. We could say, Brighton could sit there and say we didn't deserve anything in that game. Palace could say the same. So, the logic isn't going too far. It's not making sense. But we haven't, and we have managed, and we have to manage and know how to win more matches on on what's to blame for the defeats. It's the reality of where we are. I don't know if it's a reflection. It's a reality, and a reality that we want to change, that we're able to change it. And now it's about doing it more and more consistently. I can't lie. I'm getting very frustrated the more press conferences I read from Mikel Arteta. I don't necessarily think that you're wrong, but I mean, that's what are you saying? On if we need to create more chances in the game, I mean, I can't lie. Who is asking these questions, man? They're not watching Arsenal. They're just asking bullshit because it's an obvious one. You know, it's always a combination. Who creates chances for them? It's themselves. It's the team. It's the collective capacity for the team to arrive in better conditions in the final third. It's the numbers in the box. We can look at everything, but the reality is we need more goals. Well, unleash the shackles on these players. And if he tells the players to push for more goals, to be fair, I have seen you to do that. You said, you know, he said absolutely, and I don't think we did that. Sometimes teams can change their way of playing after conceding a goal. We don't, and we go for the second and the third one, and we're not going to change that. I mean, if we listen to Martin Odegaard didn't say that, especially after Everton. He said we sat back. So, I mean, the players are being honest. You're not. On if we need a striker, what we have to do is better the players that we have. This is what we can control, and this is our job. Obviously, you want Eddie to stay. You're fond of Lacazette, and Aubameyang, you've just spoke about his confidence, so he's not really going to tell the truth. But, I mean, call a spade where that's concerned. Obviously, I'm not going to speak about the COVID rules. When asked on his relationship with Aubameyang, he said, I don't know. I have a very good relationship with my players. Everyone has to understand that I always do the best for this club and for this team. And often, if that can benefit any individuals, I'll always do it. The decisions are not personal. The decisions are just to get the performance and the best out of the team. That's it. I mean, I can't always say that's been the case. On if he's considered selling Aubameyang in January, he's basically squashed that. On news like Eddie and Nketiah has turned down a deal. Well, Eddie has 6 months left on his contract, and we are having discussions with him and his agent to try to find the best possible way. Eddie knows how much I rate him and like him, and I would like him to stay at the club. Well, minutes are currency. You haven't given Eddie them many minutes, so it is what it is. And I'm not saying you should, but it's just not really making sense, man. You know, on whether there's still a chance to keep him. Well, he's our player. He's someone that we raised. He has Arsenal DNA in his blood. He loves the club so much. His reason is that he wants to play more, and that's a genuine reason. It's nothing to do with anything else. He wants more minutes, and he feels he's able to contribute much more. That's why I like him. What the fuck are you saying? On whether it's difficult to guarantee any player, yes, very difficult. But I understand that Eddie is at that period in his career when after a long spell out, after coming back, then being in and out of the team, that he feels that's the case. But at the same time, I have a strong feeling with him that he can really help the team. Brother, you need to be finding 20 league goals. Eddie Nketiah isn't grabbing that. I mean, I've got a lot of time for Arteta, but this is we ain't got time for this. Like, I'm being sorry, but Arsenal manager is sounding like under nines and that, man. I don't know what any of that is. But anyways, people, allegedly, Arsenal are willing to increase their bid for Fiorentina striker Vlahovic to 68 million as Mikel Arteta looks to fend off rivals Man United, Man City and Juventus to sign the in-demand striker. It's believed that the North London club may stump up 68 million for the ace. Reports in Italy say Arsenal are willing to up their offer. So yeah, people. I swear he didn't want us. Allegedly, we're willing to up our offer to 80 million euros, 68 million. As we know, in this season, he's got 13 goals in 16 matches and picked up last season where he left. Picked up this season where he left off. And in their attempt to leapfrog their rivals, the North London outfit, according to this article, have prepared an eye-watering package. The outlet adds that Mikel Arteta and co are willing to offer 68 million price tag, which is an increase on their first offer, and are hoping to convince him to join. It's been claimed recently, however, that Arsenal are struggling in their discussions with Vlahovic's entourage, who are said to not be returning any calls. Indeed, it is also believed that Vlahovic would prefer to wait for an offer from another Serie A side because of his desire to stay in Italy. As you know, the president told Arsenal and Juventus allegedly that they should negotiate with him first rather than only approaching the player. I don't know if Juventus are able to sign Vlahovic in January, but I want to say to Juventus or Arsenal that we, Fiorentina, are the owners of Vlahovic. They should open talks with us, not his agent. I mean, come on, everybody starts talking with the agents and seeing the feasibility of the deal, then going through the official channels. I'm sure you have. Apparently, United, meanwhile, checked on the Vlahovic situation, but it's understood that his club are holding out for 55 million. They're open to selling their talisman, obviously, with what's going on, really. I can't lie, man. Should we make a bid for Martial? You know, Anthony Martial tells Man United he wants to leave in January, with his agent announcing he doesn't want to stay. He just wants to play after 2 starts this season. I mean, there's an opportunity for you left wing for us here. He's only played 68 minutes of their Champions League campaign. He's come off the bench in 5 Premier League games and made only 2 starts in 15. So, and he's 26. So again, this is someone that they gave Ballon d'Or clauses, someone that arrived as a young man, really, and it's not kicked off. Apparently he's unhappy with the amount of playing time he has received. Apparently his agent told Sky Sports News. We can just click that article. Well, shout out to Gerard Braithwaite for signing a new deal. He's quite a talented player, but, well, I don't know why they said we can click that article when we can't. We'll see what's going on with that Paul Pogba thing in a sec. Anthony Martial wishes to leave the club, says his agent. And I mean, his agent's only going to come out with these things. I'm a big fan of Martial in it. You know, he's French and that. Maybe we can make something happen. Anthony wishes to leave the club in January. He just needs to play. He doesn't want to stay in January. And I'll speak to the club soon. I think that's it, really. Well, Ranić said it's too early to talk about transfers. He said, I've got to know the players better during this week, but it's still too early to talk about what might happen in the winter transfer window. If I look at the number of players we have, it's still a big squad. We definitely do not have enough players, but we also need to make sure that players want to stay here. If they're not getting enough game time here, it might make sense to speak individually with the players, but right now it's still too early to speak about it. He spoke about Pogba's progress. And I mean, considering a new manager's just walked in and he wants to leave, he doesn't even want to see if he can convince the coach. He just wants to keep it moving. And obviously there's a World Cup next year. You know, Haaland could leave. That could be a mazza. But yeah, I'd be open to Martial for what it's worth, but I wouldn't move heaven and earth to bring him to the club. So yeah, and you've got Barcelona interested in you and whatnot. So yeah, Charles, next on Henry, black gloves, all them things. You know, he's really, you know, when you look at his career, I'm not surprised why he's not fully developed, because he was a youth man at Lyon. He went to Monaco when they were doing the mad thing, and he was a youth man there. He didn't really play. He's gone to United and it's not really worked out. He's really not been a consistent player anywhere, and he's been a young tug. He's not really been given a run of games consistently too many times in his career. That's why he's probably behind in terms of the IQ and all of those sort of things, people. It is what it is where that's concerned. Like, it really is. What more can you say regarding such? 97 likes, people. Hit the like button if you haven't. People doing the guy there. Mbappe is the next on. Would defo take him for the right price again. Right price, I would take him. Unless a player is a Kai player, Eddie won't allow it. Arteta is completely deluded, DG. I don't know which matches he's watching. Are they the same ones we're watching? I've got a cold in my belly. I've got a cold feeling in my belly about the Southampton match. Boy, I wish I could say something to calm the nerves, but I don't know, man. You know, it's too easy on the transition. Sound about Arteta. Bro, take risk hype. There's no risks. There's no risks. We're not taking risks. I believe Arteta can bring Mbappe to Arsenal. Let's hope so, man. Off to the Emirates Stadium. Safe travels. Anyone going to the Emirates Stadium or anyone traveling somewhere else to watch the game in general. You know, one love to everyone who'll be watching it with me in a couple of hours, you know, online. You know, again, make sure you're all there with your streams. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff, which is not helpful. Again, in the art of shameless plugging, make sure you've set your reminders and hit the like button, folks. It is what it is, man. Let me see if there's any other Arsenal-related BS going on. I mean, he's praised Smith Rowe for improving. He's spoken about Vlahovic. That's all it is. Let's see what that is about. At least Smith Rowe's allegedly meant to be fit, which could be a big, big, big help. Millwall have been linked with Balogun. Don't let him go there, man. Ramsey could be going back to the Premier League. Sadly, our under-18s got smacked up yesterday. Apparently, Edu is flying to Italy. Let's see what these things they are saying, people. Couple of things. Let's get into these things. Basuma or Genie, who would you prefer? Probably Ronaldo, you know. It probably, you know, what Basuma gives us more longevity, but I just feel Wijnaldum's different to what we have. I think we've got too many of them. Allegedly, finance expert issues 132 million Arsenal claim after new rivals sealed. Arsenal's new chief commercial officer, Juliet Slough, will be tasked with closing the big gap between clubs and Manchester United's revenue, according to Dr. Dan Plummy. Apparently, Football Insider claims the Gunners were 132 million behind their Premier League rivals in commercial earnings last year. According to Sports Business, Arsenal have appointed Julian Slough to replace outgoing Chief Commercial Officer Peter Silverstone. So shout out to her. Hopefully, I don't know too much about that. It's a big opportunity for clubs as there's no restrictions on how many deals you can sign. There's unlimited potential. Clubs are looking more and more towards that to try and diversify revenue. If you look at the numbers with Arsenal, it's interesting. In 2020, Arsenal's commercial revenue was 142, while Man United's was 279. United's a different beast. United, of course, are a market leader in the Premier League, but you have got a big gap there. The remit for Julian Slough will be to close the gap. The bigger clubs see growth potential in the commercial side of business. Fair play, fair play, fair play. Moving away from that, apparently Millwall boss Gary Rowett responds to Arsenal transfer speculation over Balogun. You can let him go to so many clubs. Don't let him go to Millwall. Come on now, man. As if you got no business there. He insists the club will be making inquiries for some young talented strikers in January. He said, our recruitment team will make inquiries for any good young strikers out there. Whether those inquiries go any further or come to the point where the player is available, I don't know. There's always going to be that speculation, most of the time away from my desk. We'll look at the players, and we're looking at quite a few at the moment. We haven't decided exactly what we're going to do in the next window. It's always quite fluid at our club. It's a nice problem that the forwards are starting to find a little form and starting to perform to a much higher level with more regularity. If that continues up until the window, then perhaps there'll be less of a need to sign in that position. But if you ask any club at any point, whether they are top, middle, or bottom of the league, what any team wants, they want to score more goals. Every team and every manager will be after a striker of some sort. There will be a lot who don't get the one they want because they're not easy to find. We're happy with the squad. I expect a little bit of movement in January, and therefore it might open up the opportunity for us to strengthen one or two of the areas, not just for January, but with the summer in mind as well. There are a few loans and out of contract players. There might be a little more movement with those in the next couple of windows. You always have half an eye on that. Now, again, I do want Balogun to go on loan. By God's grace, not at Millwall. Obviously, our under-18s got smacked up by Colchester, and we're out of the FA Youth Cup, something I really wanted to go far in. But it is what it is. Arsenal chief Edu flying to Italy as negotiations for top transfer target begin. We've lost 3 of our last 4 Premier League games, by the way. Edu is apparently set to fly to Italy next week in an attempt to lure Juventus winger Dejan Kulusevski to the Emirates Stadium. He looks likely to leave in January after the game time with Maximiliano Allegri isn't happening, and they probably want to make their 29.7 back. He played 47 games for Juventus last season under Pirlo and started the bulk of the team's matches. This season he hasn't. And if you're going to play for a top club, these things are supposed to happen. And, you could kill 2 birds with 1 stone, people, because there's Vlahovic, but Juventus are thought to be open to allowing him to be a bargain chip in the Florentina race, for Florentina in the race to sign Vlahovic. So it's an issue. So this is said Edu is flying out. Not sure what's he flying out to do, but let's hope he does a thing really and truly. I'm a bit pessimistic on those claims, but let's hope there's a thing there for him. That's all for off-field stuff rather than on-field quality. DG, just want to shout you out on that Bernardo shout when the window was open. Would have loved him over Odegaard and Madders. Would have been an unreal signing watching the City game now. Trust, but that's where it is, man. It stays on Football Manager or FIFA, man. We're just gonna have to hold it up in that regards, really and truly, man. But yeah, people, obviously, I can't lie. I want to go eat my fritters, So I'm gonna love and leave you lot only because I'm gonna be here in about 90 minutes or something like that. 102 minutes. Make sure you're all here. We're going to see what's going on. And I appreciate everyone who's been locked in. I'm going to love and leave you lot. It's been a fantastic morning. As I said, I'm going to be live again. We go again, people. Hit the like button if you haven't. Peace. Safe. Let me go eat some fritters. I think